Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. And if you are a bigot, that is a terrible character flaw. Well, hokey smokes, it's a bright and sunny day. I'm wearing two shirts because I'm old, but it is bright and sunny outside. And they've actually, on this Sunday, got people from a local Rotary thing doing some charity work, and they're planting trees around and doing landscaping, just taking their weed whacker stuff around and trimming the edges of the lawn and stuff like that. But still, it's nice they're doing things like that. So definitely a thumbs up. And so at 11:10, oh, itchy nose, I am starting to do this because they've also got things set up, a tent, so they might be doing a lunch thing, in which case they're going to be knocking on my door to say, hey, we're having a lunch thing at X o'clock, so you might want to be there. So trying to get this done early. And I am having the devil's own time. I keep wanting to lean now either direction, and staying straight is difficult. I mean, I can tell when I'm leaning, so it's not like an unconscious, I don't realize I'm doing it. I realize I'm doing it, and it's annoying. So, yeah, I'm struggling to keep myself centered here. Do not have a whole lot to talk about because not a whole lot has happened, but one of the things I wanted to talk about is I mentioned how on these two fields they had dragged out, after a couple years, some mowers and got some people out there, and the grass, which was like, knee height, they trimmed it down to like this and then dragged all of the grass away and just left the cropped down fields. But I was walking through there and I'd always seen these areas that looked like, maybe there was some cable or wires that had been left from, because these are areas where there's utility poles, high, oh God, I forgot the words, but it's where they have the high intensity cables so that, they don't put people underneath them or anything like that. But in the fields there, and I thought maybe there were cables, and I couldn't figure out, were they not? Because they were just these imprints in the grass. And I was just walking along and not thinking about, other than going, gosh, I wonder if those cables found them while they were going and cleaning up and mowing. But then I was at the edge of one of the fields and I saw a little bit of movement. There was something down there that scurried and was watching me. And when I turned my head and looked, it zipped along a short area of path and then into a hole. And I went, boom. Instantly I understood. All those areas out there that looked like cables and such had implanted, but not whatever I had said before, into the dirt so that it had pressed down into everything there and left an imprint. Those were like mouse and rat trails. And all those occasional little holes, I go out when I'm walking on the fields, and I feel bad about it now because I don't want to go stomping on their trails. But I see a lot of just holes everywhere in these fields. And it's like, all these little critters. So I kind of feel guilty now walking through the fields. I don't want to mess up their areas, but they already have vehicles that like drive through there. So walking isn't going to be that bad. But it was just an amazing, as an entire picture of puzzle pieces went and fell into place. Not just, one piece, but a whole thing. It was just, So pretty cool. I don't want to bother the critters and the animals out there. They're just trying to live their lives. I don't want to mess things up for them. I wouldn't want anyone to mess things up for me. So, and then I've been trying to find some way, somehow, with all... I'm having the devil's own time here, my apologies. Trying to find somewhere to store these cards that I have made for the game Dungeon Crawl. Because it is essentially a card game with RPG rules on it. You generate the dungeon with cards. When you go into a room, it'll have like an X number of treasure cards that you can pull. And those are all random, and they have various places like swamps you can go into. And I've been trying to find a place to put them, because it's a lot of cards, like a stack this long. Put that up, it's like that. And so I was like, hokey smokes. So finally, last night, I'd been up at Walmart looking at some of their plastic stuff, and I didn't want to buy the wrong thing, but I had a container back here that I keep my med containers in. So I took the meds out and I put the cards in. And it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. All I have to do is, if I want to, put some sort of separator card in there between the two, but I've already got them separated by rubber bands, and this is a perfect size. Now, this is heavy. It's a lot of cards and a lot of paper. A lot of cards, a lot of extra paper, and a lot of plastic for the sleeves. That's a lot of cards. Holy smokes. Now I still have to find a place to put this. But this is easier to find a place for than a loose assemblage of parts and pieces. So I just wanted to show that I have to go up to Walmart and buy another one of these now to put my meds back in. They're just sitting in loose bottles back on the table behind me. I am, and always have been my full life, very cluttered because of executive function dysfunction issues. And just as a real quick, the executive function part is just your decision maker. So I got problems with that. It's a big thing for people with ADHD. It's not just a me thing. It's anybody who has ADHD suffers from these issues. The worse your ADHD, the worse the problems, of course. But that's what I've got. So yay on that. But past that, I have just been playing games. I have been reading as best I can and taking it easy. My nerve compression, just going like this, I can feel it in all of those danger spots on my back, where all those nerves come down and curly-cue down your back as well as your arms. Ow. So I gotta be careful still. I go walkies, of course, and I went on a semi-long walkies last night. I have been feeling much, much better about my health after getting the cardiac stress test. I have, unfortunately, abused this assemblage of cells that is my body throughout my life. Up until the year 2000, I was an active alcoholic. And since then, I have tried my best to be as healthy as I can. But that's not going to take away all the horrible things that happen because of drink. Now, I don't know how I came out as good as I did. I walked face first into the meat grinder of alcoholism. When you come out the other side, you're frequently just dead. If you're still alive, I've mentioned this one before and I'll mention it again in the future, but they have done studies where they check in on people with various addictions and the medications that they have, and they check in on them to see if they've relapsed or if they're still clean. And they do that after 10 years. With alcoholics, they go in after 5 years, because if they wait 10 years, all of the alcoholics have relapsed and died. So the fact that I, as well as there is a fair amount of people out there who have survived alcoholism, so it can be done, but you get badly damaged. Hokey smokes. One of the things that happens, you get a buildup of, this is why, one of the reasons I'm amazed I survived. You get a huge buildup of ammonia in your body. And ammonia attacks a whole bunch of systems down to the cellular level in your body. From your mitochondria to the cells themselves to your organ function. When I went in for my very first rehab, they had never seen a living body with this much ammonia in it. Every other body that had had an ammonia count that high had been on the autopsy table. I don't know how I came through this in such good shape as I have. So I am out there doing my daily walks. Maybe they're not 6 miles like they were before, but I'm doing my daily walks. I'm trying to get my diet under control still. I curse myself for I was still living in southern Shelton, so it was 3-4 years ago. I had first decided, you know what? I can buy myself a birthday cake for my birthday. I'm still fighting against buying stuff. And last night, I cut myself down to a sweet potato pie tart thing from Walmart and a small tube of chocolate chip cookies. It is so hard to get off of bloody sugar. It is addictive. And it really is, too. So joy on that. So, yeah, I'm still struggling with my weight. I am, unfortunately. I had ballooned up to 325 after my wife's death. Then I got really sick. And after the sickness healed, I continued on with my lifelong eating issues and continued losing weight until I was down to 165 before I could pump on the brakes and stop. And then for years, I was between 170 and 190. Then I bought and ate a birthday cake. And today, my weight is between 230 and 240 again. I went for a very long time keeping my weight down. One of the big problems with weight is it's damn near impossible to keep it off, and you generally go back up to where you were. Your body considers your highest weight as your baseline, and your body wants to be at its baseline. So you have to constantly, for the rest of your life, fight to keep at normal instead of up here where you had been. Well, I'm winning the fight in that I'm slowed down the increase to a hopeful halt, and I've been working on trying to bring it down again. If I hadn't been at least semi-successful, my weight would be a whole lot worse. It's fun being human. And of course, I, again, have been thinking a whole bunch about my inside-outside razor's edge with the cryptid stuff involved. I've mentioned before there is a kaiju on the middle of the Apple Rock layer in the Apple Rock layer's edge. Now, normally, any outpost, any settlement, the stabilizing effect of intelligence would make that area its own layer that would slowly grow outward as the people expanded outward. So any place where you have a settlement, becomes its own layer, and it spreads outward from there. So you don't have one big map. You have one place that grows out, another place that grows out. They're all separate. You can't walk from one place to another. So each one would be like the Matilda layer and the Bunny layer. But on the Apple Rock layer, all the settlements there are still part of the Apple Rock layer. You can't walk from place to place, but they're still a part of that layer. And nobody knows why. But the stabilizing effect is a side effect of the kaiju. It has a flattening effect on this layer, and it holds everything to it. Now, to the kaiju, the entirety of the Razor's Edge is as easy for it to understand just looking outward as we do looking at a flat map. Everything is just that easy for it to understand as it looks outward, which is pretty heavy duty since, again, between each settlement is, well, there's so much there that there's too much there to fit in the there. There is effectively 1,000,000 square kilometers of there for every square meter of actual there. When you walk outward past the stabilizing effect of intelligence, you've walked out into the superpositioning a grayness. There is nothing there as a layer until you stabilize it. Until then, every possibility is there. And the Razor's Edges are the multiverse written small. It's almost an infinite amount of possibilities just beyond the range of the stabilizing effect. And when you walk outward into that, you have a range of about 3,000 meters around you that it stabilizes your intelligence. The more people you have, the greater that area that it stabilizes. Doesn't last long. Once you walk out of an area, it only lasts for about an hour before it fades back into the superpositioning, so it could be anything again on your way back. But when you separate from a layer like the Apple, well, not the Apple Rock layer because it's all the same layer, but when you are on a different place and you separate, once that bridge breaks after an hour, you are developing your own separate child layer that if you just travel out of that will fade into the superpositioning. But if you established a colony, the longer you stayed, the more people you had, the larger that new layer that you created becomes. And I would like to go through and thank everybody that plays my internet game of Marco and Polo. When I give out a secret word to write down into the comments for blatant engagement farming, and some people actually play the game by doing so. Nobody has to, but I appreciate everybody who does. And last time, the people that did were Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, who has been playing the Tomb Raider series on the latest Switch, so thumbs up for that. I've played the first one on the PlayStation 1 like 20 some odd years ago. Actually beat it, so I have beat games in the past. Thumbs up. So hopefully you continue enjoying. We have Larry from Space 1856. Thumbs up and thank you. The letters at the end remind me of 1886, which reminds me of Space 1886, which was a role-playing game from like 30 years ago based in Victorian futurism, where they had established, spaceships that went to Mars using like Jules Verne stuff and H.G. Wells's anti-gravity stuff. So quite an interesting thing. We have Potato-tron 23. Thumbs up. Thank you. Good to see you in the comments. We have, I still not sure if it's Calicoy or Kalecoy, but thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. There is Gus Garrett 6838. Greatly appreciated. Leo Tom Music. Good to see you in the comments and thumbs up. And then we have a person who changed their username from I can't remember what it was to Big Willie Johnson. But thumbs up and thank you. and Big Fart 275. Greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you, thumbs up. Thank you for playing this silly little game. It is appreciated. And of course, call to action time. Hey, if you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be very, very cool and greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. If you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you. You are beautiful and awesome. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise, because they're trying to bring you down for their own purposes. You are beautiful and awesome, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I meant to put spiritually at the end, but still, all four things apply. And of course, if you've left me a comment, thumbs up and thank you. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up or heart every comment that YouTube will let me. And I answer as many as my nerve compression will allow, which is not as many as I would like, but is better than none at all. So thumbs up on that. And hey, I'm going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to take care of myself. It's a nice day. I may go for walkies during the sunlight times because I want to get another plastic thing for all these. Plus, I'm thinking of getting either another one of these containers or a thing with drawers, tiny plastic drawers, a thing like that, and then put the card games that I have over there in the stack of stuff, because I got a lot of card stuff and they're kind of just in loose baggies, and while that's fine, it's not exactly aesthetic in the stack of games I have out there. So a place to put the loose things like that would be cool as well. So I'm probably going to take a up to Walmart walk. I want to do some more recording of game stuff. I want to do more than just one or two things, but if I start hyperfixating on other things, I'm going to lose my hyperfixation on others. Like, I lost my hyperfixation on Disco Elysium, and it's so much time has passed, which was not my choice. I could not play anything at all with my nerve compression symptoms acting up. But if I don't play something, I forget what's happening fast. So I hate the fact that my nerves stop me from playing Disco Elysium. Hopefully I can get back to that as well as other things. But Grocery Store Simulator and Supermarket Simulator going to continue because I like what they have been doing with the updates on both. Admitted, one of the reasons I like the Grocery Store Simulator updates is because it makes it look like a murder house. And again, there are bodies buried underneath that building. You don't know how many, but that's a nasty looking place. It is grimy. Thumbs up. I really, really do appreciate that. And I wish they had a game that included you being able to axe murder some of your customers. God, that would be awesome. So thumbs up. There's other things I was talking about, but I got all distracted by the glory of the thought of ending human lives with an axe. Gods above. I was thinking about that. Just, the thought of being axe murdered, like the first blow that comes through in here, and it comes in and smashes through your collarbone and into your chest, but only about this far, so it severs all this stuff and hurts. So the person who's done that has to put their foot on your chest to pull the axe out and then smash it down so it breaks through and hacks, just breaking through, not even cutting the ribs right here so it's into your heart and lungs. That'd be a pretty awful way to die. So of course I think about those things and I want them incorporated into games. Anyway, though, I hope you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be very cool. If not, please do not beat yourself up. You deserve better. I have been too wild and crazy. I feels like I've got a dagger in my upper back here. Not smart, so I got to be careful with this arm. Oh, joy. I try to act normal for me. And I shouldn't have. Anyway, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very good thing. Just got to be careful. This wasn't the nerve on that one. It's muscular stuff. So, I mean, which is still nerves because I'm not injured, but my muscles are hurting because of nerves. So, anyway, if you've watched to the end, I did it again. If you watch the end, I'm not going to put the can up here again. If you could write chili in the comments, CHILI, for blatant engagement farming, and of course as a polo to my call out into the internet void of Marco, so that would be cool. And of course, don't feel guilty if you've watched this far and you don't want to do that. It's not a requirement. I don't want to force people. It's just a silly little thing to do if you choose. So, talk to you later. And I'm going to click this button now.